Today I'm showing you how to make wired coated leader, and we're going to use a fast attach in size 3, and in the end of in the other end we're going to have a little loop so you can fit your fly through here when you're taking the fast attach, going through with the fly, and then over to the nylon or fluorocarbon or whatever you use. So here we go. This wire is around, I would say 45, almost 50 centimeters. I would say 50 centimeters. So I'm going to show you step by step how I do it. So here we have 45-pound coated wire, and we're going to use Power Pike shrink tubing for this. And I already prepared 2 bits that we're going to put on the ends on the first loop that we do. We need to cover up the wire so we don't get this sharp little edge here, so we don't get snagged in bushes or weeds, grass, whatever. So here I'm just taking my tools that I'm just cutting off like 1 or maybe 2 centimeters, and it should look something like this. You can absolutely go for longer, but I would suggest just to use a short one. And then we're going to measure out how much leader we want, and I would go for, this is the end here. So when I go for length, I just take the whole length from the start, and then I add about 10 centimeters. So I just pull, so I get the full length, because we're gonna get, since we're making loops on each side, we're gonna need a little bit more material, because when you're taking the wire here, you're looping it, you lose about the same amount as like the size of the loop, so beware of that. Otherwise the leader is going to be much shorter than you expected. So here we take a fast attach. I'm using the Pike fast attach from BFT in size 3, as you can see here. And I basically put the side where you're gonna put the fly on into the vise, and it's nice to have it straight. So now when you're twisting, you're just gonna put the wire through here. And something that I would suggest, you have like a lighter or just a candle, and you light the candle up, and then we take the wire and we put it through here. The smaller loop you get here, the better. You can leave like this much if you want to. It's about 1 centimeter, but I prefer getting it as small as possible. This is usually where I end up. So don't hold in the back. I'm using right now maybe 7 centimeters or something. So I'm usually holding not in the very end here, because then when you're twisting this, it's going to get super looped or twisted at your fingers, and then here it's going to be a big loop. So I usually go like this. I get the wire like that, and then I hold somewhere close to the middle so I can close the gap closer to the hook, I mean to the fast attach. And then I just spin, and then I let loose a little bit here in the end. So I get something like that. And then we take the candle, and we're looking for the coating to start to melt, which it does right now. And then just blow on it so it gets colder. And after a couple of seconds you can just go back. Now it's normal temperature again, and then we just slide back, and we do the same here. Wait until the coating starts to melt, and you can see it going white, and then that's it. Don't do anything more than that, because if you continue burning the coating, it's just going to start to fire, and you're gonna lose the coating there. So if you don't have the coating all the way back, you're gonna have some places where it lacks the effect of getting like fully coated, and the strength is not as strong as it should be. So here for the last part, we're just gonna go very quick here, and now since we're done with that, you can see how big the eye here is, and then we're gonna put on shrink tubing here, which I already cut. We're gonna put it on the wire, get it all the way down here, and as you can see here, this little sharp end, that's what we're looking to cover up. Normally I go with a candle again, just to melt the materials in the last bit, and then just go with your fingers fast because it's very, very hot, and just to push it so it's 100% strong. And then we put the shrink tube 50-50 and we melt it. So now it's completely secured from the eye here, or the start of the wire, back to the shrink tube. So now we can release this, and now we have the fast attach on the wire. Everything's perfect. We go to the back side. This side is a little bit more tricky, I would say, because here you have to measure up how much, like how big the loop's gonna be, depending on how big your fly are. I would just suggest go a little bit bigger than you think, because otherwise you're gonna end up with a small loop and you can't fit like a 6/0 hook through this loop. I've done it many times, and just make it bigger than, like, double the size of your hook. The materials in your fly is gonna pass the loop anyways, but the hook is pretty hard to shrink while it's already there. So I normally just take it like this around the vise, take the loop and hook it somewhere, and then I have here around, I would say 10 centimeters maybe. Oh, and before we forget, shrink tube. I almost forgot. So here we got the shrink tube on. Now we do the same thing again. We take about 10 centimeters total and we wrap it around here. And then we do the same thing here. I usually go somewhere where it's gonna end. I pinch my fingers, and then I go back, and I'm sliding my hand back at the same time, so I can use the candle to heat up the coating here. So we start up in the front, and we can see the coating start to bubble, turn white. Then we know it's 100% where we want it. Now it's fully coated. Everything's melted in the correct way, and now we can release it, and we should get something like that. It shouldn't spin after you're done, because then it haven't set good enough. So if it has some places where you're kind of burned the coating, just throw it and start over again. So now we have this part again where the wire is just hanging here, and we're gonna take the candle again and we're gonna melt it quick, and we're gonna attach it to the wire again, fast pinch, and it should get stuck immediately. Then we take the shrink tube. Oh, didn't get stuck. It's very hot, so be careful. And we put the shrink tube on like that. We just drag it over 50%. So we had shrink tube from where the wire ends, 50% until the main wire, and then to the loop 50%. and then we just shrink it. Something like that. And we're done. Don't forget to blow out your candles. And here we go. We have one pike leader or musky leader or perch leader, whatever. You can do this to all of the coated wires that you have in the store. And I just love this because I don't get snagged in anything. So here we have the loop. The loop is gonna get a little bit bigger during like time, because the coating will start to rip up here, and that's no problem. As long as you have about like maybe 5 or 6 spins around the wire and it's fully coated and functional, it's no worries at all. So you can actually, if you want to, just drag this slightly if you want to have it bigger, but I go somewhere like this. And then we have the fast attach hanging here, and yeah, that's how you make a leader for pike or whatever you're fishing. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.